Hey, we have some exciting news to share. We have written a book, Polarity, Intelligence, the Missing Logic in Leadership, and it is now available for pre-order on Amazon. Just search for the title of our book, Polarity, Intelligence, the Missing Logic in Leadership, and pre-order your copy today. As listeners of our podcast, you know we have been using the principles of a polarity mindset, healthy relationships, and meaningful dialogue as leaders for decades. And as business partners, these principles are the cornerstone of our business. Polarities are all around us, even in us, and if you can't recognize them and don't know how to leverage them, they will haunt you. They will keep showing up as persistent problems you are unable to solve. For us, having this knowledge compels us to share it with leaders around the world. We believe the polarization in our homes, schools, communities, and world would shift if every leader became polarity intelligent. We can't wait for you to read our book. Pre-order your copy of Polarity Intelligence, the Missing Logic in Leadership on Amazon.com now.
This is the TRU Leader Podcast, formerly known as Healthcare's Missing Logic Podcast. It's a big day today. Welcome to this new podcast for true leaders who are seeking to balance leading and living.
New name, same sage advice for leaders, awesome guests, and some laughter too. Stay tuned to learn more.
Welcome to the TRU Leader Podcast. I'm Dr. Tracy Christofferson.
And I'm Michelle Trosett.
We are life and business besties, leadership coaches and mentors, and polarity intelligence experts. We're the authors of Polarity Intelligence, the Missing Logic in Leadership, and co-founders of MissingLogic.
We are here to help high-achieving leaders break through leadership norms that cause them suffering at work and home. If you're looking to elevate your leadership, increasing your productivity, effectiveness, and impact, and manage your health and well-being, spend quality time with those you love, and live your best life, then you are in the right place.
Our goal in this podcast is to equip you with new ways of thinking and practical and tactical strategies for succeeding at work and thriving in life. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of personal and professional development so you can reach your full leadership potential, create a life you love, and be what we are calling a thriving, resilient, and unstoppable or true leader.
If you are ready to learn and laugh a little, let's get started. Well, welcome. This is a big day. Welcome to the TRU Leader Podcast, formerly known as Healthcare's Missing Logic Podcast. And we are here today, your still hosts, Dr. Tracy Christofferson and Michelle Trosett.
Here we are. New day, new time, new podcast.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you have been a listener of ours on Healthcare's Missing Logic Podcast, we want to thank you for coming back and listening to this new branded podcast. We're super excited to bring it to you. And welcome to any of you that are new listeners that don't know us. And we're going to tell you a little bit about us just in case.
Just in case, yes. So Tracy and I are both leaders in healthcare. We have been for a number of years. That's why our first podcast was Healthcare's Missing Logic Podcast. And I am a nurse professionally and have been a nurse. Actually, do you know that this year is my 40th anniversary of my Bachelor's in Science and Nursing degree. Did you know that, Tracy?
I didn't. 40
yes,
years?
40 years. I know it's shocking.
Wow.
Yeah. And wow.
As
a nurse, you really learn a lot about leadership because you're caring for patients, you're coordinating care. And I was a nurse in critical care. So that, there was a lot of leadership skills that were needed there. And then I was just really blessed to have a phenomenal mentor in my life, Bonnie Wazorek, who was a nurse and led leaders all over the country, a consortium of creating healthy work cultures, of which you and I did together.
Yeah.
And then I went on to do a lot of national leadership work. I was a fellow in the American Academy of Nursing, the president of the National Academy of Practice. So have had a lot of great leadership experiences in healthcare.
Yes, you have. And I'm a respiratory therapist. And so Michelle and I actually met at hospital orientation over 30 years ago. And we did it was the stand up and shake the hand of the person behind you. And I happen to be that person. So we always say we've been shaking hands ever since.
Hers are cold, mine are warm.
And you're going to learn a lot about how opposite we are. I know it was divine intervention. We were brought together in that auditorium all those years ago. But, we grew up as leaders in the healthcare system that we worked in and learned a lot about leadership together and how to lead as a dynamic duo. Mm-hmm. And I had the same mentor that Michelle had and many other mentors on our team, I think, as well. We worked with a phenomenal group of leaders in leading, healthy work cultures all across North America. And I got exposed to a number of other types of leaders as well in those organizations that we worked in. And it was really phenomenal work. And I think it shaped both of us into the leaders that we are today. Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
It was amazing.
So we thought we'd share a little bit about our kind of maybe more personal leadership journeys as well. So in reflecting about what do we think about leaders and how do we become the leaders we are today and how are we helping leaders today? First of all, I think you learn about leadership at home, and I was the oldest of 5 children. And actually, I was told a lot. You're a born leader, Michelle. So I just kind of took that charge early in my life. And then I believe a lot of my leadership in the early years, Tracy, was just, I call it divine intervention. I walked into the profession of nursing through a guidance counselor because they saw potential in me. I met my mentor my senior year in my bachelor's program, and she opened my lens to a whole new way of being a nurse and being a phenomenal healer. And then I just had doors open for different places to work. And then I ended up in hospital orientation with you. And so I just think for a lot about me, it's just been about, I was always in awe of how my life unfolded without really a lot of goals and I'm going to go do this. It just kind of like was magical to me. And so, and then as I grew in my leadership, I had to get comfortable with who I was and not so surprised of my own potential. And I think when I look back, people saw potential in me that I didn't see in myself. And I think one of my greatest ways I like to now think about it, and I'm going to read it here on my phone, is a quote by Marianne Williamson that really shows you that, if I can find it, that it's not always being inadequate. It's really embracing the leader in you that is there, but you just have to find it and grow it. And so one of my favorite Marianne Williamson's quotes from A Return to Love is, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous?" And I think that, and she goes on to say more, but all of us have an amazing light in us. And so part of our journey is to help it shine. And I think that's what I love most about our work today, is we really help leaders find the light to shine within them.
Yeah, I love that. Well, as I alluded to before, you're going to learn how we are exact opposites. Okay, so I didn't have that kind of beginning to my leadership. I was what you would call the squeaky wheel. I was passionate about what I did as a therapist. And I think, I could always see the opportunity. I'm a maximizer, so I could always see opportunities to improve things and to grow things. And so that was always my jam. It wasn't that I was really significantly unhappy or I wanted to be contradictory. I was really trying to improve things. And so my leadership journey really began by being the squeaky wheel and them trying to quiet me. And eventually they learned they needed to bring me in, not shut me down, right? And so I think a lot of it started there, right? And so I think, to your point, I had leadership capabilities in me, but I didn't have somebody telling me I was a leader, right? I just kind of happened into it. And then, got exposed to other leaders and a lot of other things. And of course, read tons of books and we believe really leadership is an inside out endeavor, right?
Yeah.
And you can read a lot and you can get exposed to things, but it's really about the internal shifts that you need to make to continue to brighten your light, to continue to reach your full potential. And so for me, at a point in my leadership career, I was like doing the things and I was reading the books and I was, trying to apply it, but I still wasn't going where I wanted to go. I wasn't hitting the goals I wanted to hit. And I just realized it wasn't about the doing, it was about the being.
Right.
And that there were some fundamental things I needed to shift inside me. And I wasn't really sure how to do that. And then that's where the magic came for me, because then once I had that realization, then different opportunities, different coaches showed up for me. And that's what really started my journey. And for my own personal growth, which led to my professional growth, right? So it's that both and.
Yeah.
And so, I started coaching over 20 years ago. Really, it's been a long journey from being a coach for other people as well in different ways. And, we coached leaders all across the country.
Oh, we did. In fact, I'm having a flashback. We were coming back from a consortium meeting, and I remember it was a fall day like it is today. And Tracy and I are driving together. And I just looked at her in the car. I go, "You should be a coach." You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, she has it, folks. She's the coach. I'm the mentor.
That's right. That's right. That's our story, right?
It really is.
Yeah. So I've been doing that and coaching individuals for a long time. But there's a lot of tools and a lot of things that I've learned along the way for my own growth that I've helped others with as well. And it's just been a phenomenal journey. And we're excited in this podcast to share a lot of those things with you.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's been amazing.
So why are we here?
Oh my gosh. Well, we are here because of our lessons that leadership is an inside job. It does evolve over time. It's a journey. It's always a journey. We're still on a journey. And you can be a leader whether you're in a formal leadership role or an informal leadership role. Really, we are all leaders. And so I think that's an important message. And the thing that Tracy and I have really observed, especially the last few years, is that and in hindsight, looking back to our own lessons, is that that leadership norms, they are there and they have governed they've governed our behavior subconsciously. Yes. We don't even know that they're there. Mm-mm. And so leaders, like some examples are that leaders have to work hard to be successful. That's that, right? That doing, I have to work really hard, that I have to sacrifice, even in I've always loved my work, but I used to even tell my husband, this is just what I have to do. It's just like, you have to go out there. You have to really sacrifice. Yeah. It's how it is. That leaders eat last, right? You put your team before you. And so those leadership norms really cause suffering. And that today, in today's world, a lot of leaders are exhausted. They're burned out. They're in poor physical health. They're in poor mental health. Yeah. And so it's something we really all need to pay attention to.
Yeah, it is. And, we know as high achievers ourselves, right, what that's like. And to be passionate about something, to be dedicated to your mission, right? It's a driving force, but it can really drive you into the ground if you're not careful about how you manage that, right?
Yes.
And I think another reason why, we've kind of made this shift and have this new podcast is leaders approach most challenges that they face as problems that can be solved. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, many of the challenges aren't problems that can be solved.
Nope.
Right? And they try to use, and problem solving is like either or solutions, right? I'm either going to apply this solution to my challenge or I'm going to apply this other solution. And once we apply it, it's gone. But many of the challenges that leaders face are ongoing. And they don't really know how to address those ongoing challenges. And so one of the reasons we're here in this podcast and one of the things we'll be doing is really to increase your awareness that many of these ongoing challenges are what we call polarities. Polarities are, interdependent pairs of values or points of view or perspectives. They need each other over time to achieve something neither could achieve alone. And it's just so critical to the leader to have that awareness and to understand how polarities work, because most of what you're addressing is not a problem that you can solve. So that's really one of our core missions.
It really is.
Yep.
It's been a game changer in our life, and for those that we've already introduced it to that have been applying it. So it's really significant in the leadership role.
And it's essential. It's an essential competency. You really have to have it.
You do.
We deal with them every day. We are one.
So
we
true.
really are, right?
Well, it's important because, leaders do want to be successful, and we know they want to have balance between their work life and their home life, and they want to give attention to their personal life and feel healthy and feel good and feel on top of their game, right? Mm-hmm. And they get into trouble if they don't look at it through that polarity lens. And at the same time, you want to be well regarded as a leader. Whenever you take on, I know that for me personally, and I think every leader I know, is that when you take on a new endeavor, you want it to be successful. You don't even want to think of it as failing. So that's really important to you as a leader, to be successful and make that positive contribution, to make that difference. At all times, but even now when there's a lot of innovation happening and changes happening, you want them to be successful. And like I said, you also want that balanced life, but you don't want a balanced life that's just mediocre. Like, okay, I guess this is what balance means for me.
This is my life.
I'm just going to settle.
It's how it's going to be. Yep.
I'm just going to settle, right?
Yep.
And what they want is what we call the thriving, resilient, unstoppable, or true leader in a true leadership life.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Yeah,
we're here to help you get it.
We are.
Right? And I think the other thing is too, right, we know what we're doing isn't working. Mm-hmm. We keep doing the same things over and over, wanting different results. So we need new tools. We need new ways of thinking. We need new infrastructures and processes and tactical strategies, right, to help us shift. And that's what we want to do here, right? And you don't always know where to begin. So that's what the podcast is going to help with. And you also only know what you know. Mm-hmm. So we all have blind spots. There's always aspects to ourselves that we can't see or that we're unaware of or that are subconscious. And so it's really kind of revealing those and giving you some new insights and some new ways of looking at things so that you can become that true leader, really live that true life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today's your lucky day. We are going to be sharing with you on the podcast going forward. Just different pearls of wisdom that Tracy and I have learned, different stories. We're going to be sharing with you processes that really stem from our dynamic balance effect framework, and that is the framework that is the foundation of our True Leader Mentorship Program. So lots of lessons, a lot of practical stories and examples, as Tracy stated. And within our dynamic balance effect framework are 3 pillars that really help the true leaders rise up to the leaders that they want to be. And that is having mindful choices, really living polarity intelligence, and then being personally aligned. And that's just, and so much of this comes back to that leadership from the inside out. Yeah. You have to have that strong foundation yourself before you can really impact other leaders around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. And it's really this combination of strategies that are within those pillars that really help the true leader emerge.
Yes.
Right. There's no quick fix. There's no silver bullet here, folks. So we'll be talking a lot of different things and a lot of different ways and processes and things to leverage. And so some of the episodes will be solo episodes just like this, with Michelle and I kind of talking about our lessons and different things. Some will have interviews with leaders from across different industries.
Yes.
We'll be interviewing and talking with some of our true leaders that we've been working with, so you can hear their stories. And, it's really going to be a combination of things. But what you'll learn is you'll laugh. Well, we laugh. So, it's kind of contagious.
So we hear.
it's informative, right? And so I think it's going to be well worth tuning into every week.
Absolutely. So if you've been with us for a while, we appreciate you so much. We wanted to have you continue on the journey with us. Yes. If you're new, we appreciate you as well, all of our listeners and followers. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, and if you're excited, like, ooh, I want to listen to more of these, share this with others. Really, our growth and expansion has come from those that have gotten a lot of our podcasts to share with others. And please subscribe. It's easy to subscribe on your whatever platform you listen on so that you make sure not to miss an episode and what's coming up next. Mm-hmm. And if you prefer video, we're now on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, so you actually can watch us in action too. So subscribe today.
And share.
And share.
So thanks for being here today, for tuning in and joining us. And we look forward to joining you every single week.
Yes.
So take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. See you next time.